All right, so I am ready to go today, start streaming. Everything's looking good, sound is up. All right, so today I am going to continue on with our Azure Cosmos DB, um, where we were learning, building some samples and just learning out how to build the actual database and what is the partition key. And I'm going to be getting into that shortly. But I did actually have a question from a friend of mine uh, over the past couple days, and I'm gonna try and answer it live. We had talked it out, but I'm like, hey, let's try and do this. So, um, yeah, here it is. I'll just pull this over. Let's see if this works. So, it was a question about, hey, I need to use a Azure function to do some work on a regular basis, and so it's like what was like downloading images. So but it's like which images to download is known from a database somewhere, but there could be a lot to download. So it's like, well, I only want to download the things that have changed from a certain point. And that's perfect for an Azure function. You can set it up as a timer, and it'll run once a day. But the problem is, well, what is that certain point? I mean, obviously you could say, well, the day it runs, do go 24 hours back, and that could work. But he wanted a little bit more control over that, because what if the previous day got missed or whatever? So one of the ideas we came up with was like to set a last runtime, and get that up first, and then to stick that last runtime in an Azure storage, and then if and use that, come back again the next day when it starts and grab that runtime out of Azure storage and see if it's there, and then use that as the starting point to say, query the database or get the items. Oh, these are the things that changed. I got to go get it. So I'm just going to try and set that up and see if I can build that. I've done this before with like this last runtime in a little text file, because I've done like little console applications that run, and they need to query a database based on a timestamp, and so stick it in a text file. It's a great way to just do it quick. It's kind of quick and dirty, really, is what it is, but it works really well. And I guess one thing before I dive into this is that this isn't really for, say you got to process orders for shipping or something like that. That's not what this is for. This is more for like my friend's example of grabbing images that have changed. If you miss an image, you're probably fine, and that's in his case it's totally fine. Miss one, no big deal. Um, but or you miss a day and you like get it to run for an color, you set the change date for 2 days or 3 days in the past, fine, it gets them all. So that's what this is for. It's not for like I said, like it's not for transactional stuff. It's not for orders or like shipping or things like that. That's something else. Maybe you want to get into looking at like the Azure queues and stuff where they're actually, you're guaranteed to run those or not. That's a great thing, and maybe something to look at in the future. But so what I'm going to do is let's just see if we can get this going. So I'm going to start by creating a new project, and I want to create a new Azure function project. And now I've done this. Let's just search and see, is there a function project? Thought there was, yes, yeah. Let's see what we get here. Function app one. Let's call this the what are we going to call this? The daily, no, let's just call it image updater. That's what kind of the thing is that we talked about. And where did I put all my stuff? I think I just put it in documents, right? Yeah, we're going to stick it in documents. Documents. That's where we're going to put it. Good. Place, yeah, sure, whatever. We're going to do this. So we're going to create our new Azure function, and I want it to be a timer. There it is. And yeah, we'll just use the storage emulator. That's fine. And right now the schedules, I think this is every, never remember how this is set. Is this every 5 minutes or every 5 seconds? I forget. It might be every 5 minutes, but that's fine because we're going to just keep um, kicking it off ourselves until we get it working, and then you can figure out how to do that cron schedule thing there. So let's create this project and see if we're going to be able to do this. Hopefully this goes fast. My thought was, hey, this is like, because this is what I really want to do is if you have a question, bring it to me and we can try and talk it out and kind of work through it. So it's like he came to me the other day and I was like, oh, you know what, this is a great thing to talk about. So and I'm okay actually if it goes the whole hour, no problem too. So what do we got here? We got our little Azure function project here and running, and it's going to trigger off. I believe that's every 5 minutes, but we're going to find out in a second. And so then it just does some log. So let's just see if this actually works. And I think we just have to hit F5 and everything works. No, yeah. You see that? It popped up the security dialog. So we're starting the Azure Storage Emulator, which is cool. That runs in the background to host the function parts that it needs. And if when we deploy this to Azure, there's also it'll create it all on its own. And what's cool about this is when we deploy it, this is going to be based on the consumption plan. So it's almost like this will cost you practically nothing to run this. It'll be a couple cents really a month, not even. I mean, depending on how much work you're doing, of course, but for something like this, probably where you're going to grab and have to download, probably he's got like 20, maybe like 50 images at the max or something like that. Be a couple cents a month, and you'll be running it every day. This is perfect. So this is starting the Azure Storage Emulator, and it is hanging here. I wonder if it is having issues. Because why? I don't know. Let's wait a little bit longer. Spinner disappeared, so maybe it's doing something. This is the first time I think I'm starting it under this account that I use for streaming, so maybe that's the issue. Or maybe we'll cancel. Operation is canceled, that's fine. It's there. It is shut down. We're gonna run into issues here, huh? No, just want to start. Storage emulator shut down. I know. I want you to start. Let's exit. All right, let's try Storage Explorer. Ooh, I wonder if I have the wrong version. All right, let's go out. All right, we're gonna figure this out. This is cool because I maybe don't have, or maybe because it's on a different account. It's got the wrong version somewhere. Let's see. Storage is part of the Azure SDK by using the standalone installer. Should we do that? Maybe. 510. No, that's what I have, so I'm not worried about that. Do you want to cancel? Yes. Finish. So let's try this again. Azure Storage Emulator 510. Well, that looks good, right? And then we just type start. Or no, I have to. No. Actually, I have to. It started it for me. Unable to start storage emulator. There's something there. Help. Command line tools. Why is it not able to start? This feels familiar. Oh. I wonder if OBS Studio is messing with it. You know what? Let's start by downloading the latest version, because maybe that's part of it. Yeah, we'll repair it. Okay. It's not starting. Let's close this. Azure storage. Unable to start storage emulator. Okay, so maybe it's something to do with, see, the SDK. All right, so maybe it's installer, Visual Studio installer. So under here, but you know what? Let me just Azure Storage Emulator and OBS Studio. Okay, I don't see anybody talking about it, so maybe we're okay. Let's see. Let's see under here. This is the other thing I'm thinking of, is we could modify. I definitely don't want to go through this, but let's just make sure where did it say it comes from? No, it comes from part of the Microsoft Azure SDK. Is that a specific Azure Storage Emulator right here? No, cancel. You know what? I'm going to try. No, I'm not going to try that. Oh, that's disappointing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everything is installed here that I need to install. It must be a path or something else. Open source, no, I don't want to do that. The other thing is we could just kind of skip it and go right into an Azure function, but that doesn't let me debug, and that would be lousy. Oh, okay. I bet it's permissions. The different, you can local DB. No, local DB is fine. But you know what? Maybe because I use it on my other. Because if I go here and let's just see, I wonder if it's some sort of permissions issue with the SQL database, the local one. Let's see what we got here. So if I connect to that, databases. Ooh, did it just create that today? This is an old version. Did I create this today? I don't know. How about we, let's drop it. I don't think it matters. Yeah, let's drop it. Actually, hold on, before I drop it, let me just check my theory. There's no user here. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's just, because I'm pretty sure it's totally fine. Yeah, we're here at my local. This is all garbage anyway. Let's try that again. Let's start it. We'll just use the command line. Yeah. Okay. This is looking more promising. So I think my other user, granting access, granted installation storage is now ready for use. Beautiful. See, my other user account was actually granted access to that one. So now when I go to actually run like a Azure Function app on my other user account, which is what I use to work with my clients and all, it's going to give me that same error. That's actually really cool to know, and it's going to make an interesting blog post when I actually start blogging again. I hope to do that. Let's make a note of that. New page below. So what do we have? It was Azure Storage Emulator unable to start because another user account was granted permission. I think that's the idea. I'd have to prove that yet, but I'm not sure. To the local DB. Okay, so anyway, we're finally ready to go here. Let's go back to our project and hit F5. You know what? Let's just make sure this runs now. Yeah, it's looking good, right? There it is. We're going to allow access. There we go. One function found, starting up, and it should have told me where are the start times. Usually in a flush time, those are all settings. I'm trying looking. Usually it has a list of these are the next times. I want to just prove that it was 5 minutes, but oh, because the target machine actually reviews it. Maybe because the target machine reviews system core, no connection made because the target machine. Why? Retrying to start job post. So something's wrong. It's trying to listen and it's not happy. What is it doing? I don't know. Because a target machine, let's search for that. It's going to keep going, but let's see what this gets. All right, so let's just stop this and let's go look at our app setting, not host, local settings, use development storage. That's disappointing. But maybe why wasn't it? Let's try it one more time. Just start it up again. Okay, so there may be some sort of mix-up. Oh, the emulator failed. Okay, hold on. I didn't see this. Oh, so it had timed out. Okay, so, huh? So it said open it as administrator. So what if we, can I, no, it's not gonna let me do that. But here, let's do this, run as administrator, yes. Okay, so we got a command prompt as administrator. Let's go back to this guy over here. And then what's the thing? What's the command? Azure Storage Emulator. Azure Storage Emulator. Is it start? Successfully started. Well, now that looks more promising. So it was a permissions issue, but why? I've never had that before. Maybe it's because it's Widmer. Maybe it's Jeff 2 account. I wonder if I don't. Hey, that's good. That's a good sound too. Okay. Let's just try this now. Let's just see if we can get this running. Yeah, that looks very promising. So there it is. That's what I was expecting. Hey, kind of ran through everything. It got good. It's all good. So it was a permissions issue all around. Like the database, it didn't. So because I'm running on a different account, and this account is an administrator, but let's make some notes of that, and then we'll see. Because another account, granted local DZ, but also running Azure Storage Emulator, not as uh, not as admin in command. It failed too. So I don't quite understand that, but it probably has something to do with this other user. Well, it definitely has something to do with this other user account that I'm using. So anyway, we're beyond that, and so I kind of want to keep moving on. But that was interesting to see, and like what is stomping on everything else. But okay. So I can close this, and I can leave that. So here we are. So we got our Azure function up and running. It's going to run every, I think, what did we say, 5 minutes, right? Yes, every 5 minutes right now. And of course, you can there's a little timer trigger. Is it? Where is it? Run on startup. Run on startup equals true. I usually like to do that because otherwise it will remember the times. And so even though it's set to run every 5 minutes, it was really not what we want. You know, even if we do it like 60 minutes, or my friend wanted, he was going to do one once every day, or maybe every 6 hours, or something like that. But for our testing, we want to run on startup is true. But of course, we want to turn this to false before we deploy, because otherwise, when you deploy it initially, it'll just kick in and run. So there we go. So we've got our little application, and now we should see if we run this. Let's try again. It's all kicking off. It's going to run. We can even put a little breakpoint. There it is. Run on startup. So it's unscheduled, but because we said run on startup to true, it's kicking in. And here we go, and it's running. You run, boom, there it is. And that's it. So it did its, where's that log piece? C# timer trigger, where is it? Right here. There it is. So it actually did it. So that's great. So now we're running every 5 minutes. But now the problem is, hey, we've got to implement this code that I wanted to do. And where is it? It's right here. So let's just copy this out, and we'll try and implement each of these comments. Okay, so searching. So this is, we're going to leave this up for, why is this? Oh, because I got to stop. We're going to leave this up. So this is the idea, is like we have to search a database for items to be updated. You know, last modified within the 24-hour time window or something like that. But instead of using just this time, we're going to actually use a run date. So what we're going to do is get it from Azure Storage. But first, we're going to do is have to create that Azure Storage account where we can go to get that and save that time. And so we're going to go to the portal. And I need to go to storage. I don't have it here. I have to go to all services, storage accounts, not the classic. This is the one I want. And I don't have any here. Yeah, that's true. And so we're going to create a storage account. And we're using my little thing. My resource group is, let's create a new one. This is going to be image uploader. That way we kind of have it all. There's our do storage account name is image uploader. Oh yeah, lowercase only. Me already taken. Let's just stick a timestamp on it. That's great. And then so East US, yes. Performance standard, yes. V2, yeah. There's reasons why you want V2, V1, V2. Just go with it. Read access. We don't really need any of that. We're gonna go with the cheapest one because we're not doing it. And yeah, we always want it all hot because we're just doing this really quickly. Okay, so we're creating our storage account. So let's let this go. Validation pass, create. So while we're waiting for, oh, hey, that's nice. I did it. Oh no, it's deployment's underway. Never mind, I didn't do it. Not yet. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to finish, what we got to do is we're gonna try to get the last runtime from Azure Storage, or if it doesn't exist, use Datetime Now. So here's Datetime Now, and then we need to go to Azure Storage to get it. And I do have some code somewhere. Okay, so we're going to create a little class here. Oh, but first we got to bring in packages. So let's do that. So we're going to go here and find the Azure Storage. Nope, that's installed. Always wrong. Windows Azure Storage. It's multiple. Yes, we gotta get the right. This is the old one. We need to go to Microsoft Azure Storage. Microsoft Azure Storage. What do we get? I think we just want the blob one because that's what we're gonna do. Yep, this is it. Let's install that one. That looks fine. Accept. So, okay, cool. This is done. So we're gonna go to our storage account. And there's our little storage account right there. There's gonna be some keys here, which we're gonna have to grab, and I probably should not blast them all over the stream, but I'll just delete this anyway. But we will grab that in a minute. But what I want to do is see if there's any containers. And there's no containers here, of course, brand new. And let's just leave it like that for now, because I think we can. No, I guess there's no reason. So we'll create our timestamp container. Private, no anonymous access. That's what I want. Yeah. Hey, where'd my thing go? There. There. So we're going to have our little timestamp container, which is where we're going to put our little timestamp in here. But now we got to go and try and get it. And that's the piece here. working on, there's an update. What's updated? SDK functions. Ooh, should I do that? Yeah, let's do it. I don't know if it's doing it or if it, yeah, it's got some issues. What happened? So did it update it or not? I think it did. Huh. This all looks good now, but it's, oh no. Okay. That's not really what I want to do. I don't want to be spending time like this, but so when I created this project, it was not the latest version. Man, I'm hitting like barrier after barrier today. Why did I choose a wrong setting here? No, there's no. No, it's not going to be in there. No, I don't want to do that. So, what did it change? Yeah, really? Okay, so I thought Azure Web Jobs. Oh, well, wait. Oh, so so something's not happy. It just did not. Okay, so here's what we can do. This is going to really mess everything up, I think, but we're going to try and figure this out. Hey, I can't copy that. There we go. So we're going to remove it. Okay. And then we're going to reinstall it. Whoa, this is new. Extensions metadata generator package not imported. Extensions metadata generator package was not imported. There it is. From June? Okay. That feels weird, but okay. I don't know. This doesn't feel right. No, this is still not good. So let's try something else. Unless I should just stick with the one and move on, because that's not, I'm just kind of curious why this is not working. Let's just see. If I go back and create a new, yeah, sure, timer, trigger, whatever. So now this one has some dependencies it's not happy with. But no, there it is. It all cleared up, so it's all good. So if I rebuild this, it's fine. But if I go to manage NuGet packages, it's going to want to do an update. Yeah, it is. It's going to say, hey, I want to update this. Oh, wait, okay. So I'm on 2.1. And it's going to want to update this. And not, okay, version 3. It needs version 3, and the project is only allowing 2. And why won't it allow me to go higher? Okay, so let's just either I'm going to ignore it or Azure function 3. Now in preview. So maybe it's not ready yet. Oh wait, it says it is. Cars before changing major. Okay, breaking changes are following JavaScript, but is there functions extension version applications? Okay. Okay, so I think I need to go here, here, here. That was the problem though. Update this. I think that worked, right? Nope. Yes. Did it? Yes, it did. Did it? Beautiful. Succeeded. So what happened is the function app itself was still a 2 point whatever 1 app. And I was trying to give it the functions, this package, which was 3, but it wanted a 3 or higher app. So that's the problem. So let's close this. Well, before we close that, let's go back to the project we've been working in. And we're going to go here and go to the properties and change this to our .NET Core 3.1. And just by changing that, it will update our own packages here. See, it's all nice. And then I can remove this guy because that was not true. Yes. But see, then it did this. It's all done. And then, but see, I messed up stuff here. I think this was here. I got to put this back. This should all be happy now. Yes, it is. So let's try rebuilding. There it is. Okay, so I should probably where was that article that what am I looking for? I'm looking for the one article that not that one. No, this guy. So this is not really the right, because you're going to come to this, and so I really should add a new answer here. Because you get this error. I got this error when starting with a starting with the Visual Studio Function app template, which uses Microsoft.NET SDK functions, Microsoft .NET SDK functions 1.31 and it was .NET Core 2. We'll just say .NET Core, and is a .NET Core 2 I don't know if it's app. NuGet package manager wants to update the package to version 3.0.2, which it tries to do, but the app is still .NET 2 Core, .NET Core 2, and you get the error. What error did we get? Let's reproduce that error. Wow, 1243. I haven't even gotten to. That's okay. This is good stuff. Learning. Yeah, ran it into something. Log file. Can we get that error again? No. Where's that error? No, no error. Yeah, I know, but package manager. No. So I think if I just try and like update it, say, okay, it's going to give me that error here. I just want to get that same error. No, you're not giving me the error now? Error. All right, otherwise I'll just copy it from. It was a nice error. I forget about it. So it gives you this error. The extension was not imported correctly. And you get the error. Extension manager is not imported correctly. Like that. How's that looking? That's looking good. So to resolve this, update the application to .NET Core 3. And then let's set it to yeah, we're fine like that. You know what, maybe we can grab a little screenshot. Is that gonna work? Add in a picture. Down to 15 minutes left, and I didn't get to Cosmos DB at all. Ah. All right, that looks great. Good. Update that. Close that. We're gonna close that. Close that. Close that. Close that. All right. So let's get rid of this other project. The function one, I don't care. Don't save. It's a mess. Okay. So now we are back to our original project, which all I was trying to do is add in the storage manager, or the blob storage component, so that I can actually go out to Microsoft Azure Storage and get that blob, which is going to have my timestamp in it. Let's see if we can do that in 15 minutes. So I have some code here, and I am I'm going to create, and no, I'm not going to do anything like that. I am going to copy. So we have to first is, let's just, you know what, instead of me trying to read my sample, let's go out to the internet and say get blob from Azure Storage. Oh, wait, C#. Read file from Azure Blob Storage C#. Who looks like a good one? How about you? Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so let's just do this. We're going to take it all here, 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 here. Your connection string. All right. Let's paste that in there. How's this looking? It's going to need some help. Azure Storage or Windows Azure Storage? I don't know. Azure Storage Blob. That's it. So that's great. So it's going to set up the connection. I have to do this connection string, which I am going to put into. See, it's not doing a wait. So all right. I don't want to totally like. I don't like the result. Not good. We can change the function into async. So let's do that. And of course, I got to go to Google again. Change Azure function to async. How do we do that? Nope, that's not it. No. C# Azure function async. That's what I wanted. Here it is. Static async task. That was easy. Should have known that. All right. Yes, good. So, and because you really want to do a wait and get rid of the result, that's what you want to do. So then that way, when it comes to here and it's actually going out, it's awaiting, frees up resources till it comes back, and there we go. So we got to fill in this stuff here, but I need to get the connection string, and I always forget how to get settings because I want to put, oh, forget about it. What I'll do is I'll reset this. Where's my storage container here? So here's my access keys, going to be blasting them out on the Twitch stream. I am going to reset this as soon as it's over with, especially since I got 2 people watching. And I know all of us. There we go. So there's my connection string. It's going out there. Oh, hey, there's a question. Oh, that was from Randy. Would the reinitialize command do it? That was probably from the Azure Storage emulator. I need to keep the stream chat up And I know there's a lot of other people who do Twitch streams. They got all stuff to tell them when stuff is coming in, and I got to get to that point at some point. So I got to remember put the stream chat up, and yeah, it probably would have maybe dropped that database, but I kind of did it manually, deleted it and started again. So here we go. So we got our connection string, and then we're parsing it to just create our storage client. Nothing happens at that point, and then we're going to create our blob client. That's just what you do. You create your service client, whatever it's called. And then we're going to go get our container reference. And our container reference is just the name of our container, which was, we're almost there, timestamp. Timestamp. So there's absolutely no reason to do this. We don't need to do that. Get rid of that. Okay. And then we're going to go get the blob, the reference to it. And we're going to call this our, yeah, we're going to call it our, that's what I wanted to call it. And I believe we can just do this last runtime.txt. So we're going to get that blob, and then we're going to try and download, but we got to be careful here because it doesn't exist the first time. So I believe we can do blob.exists async. If, so this is the first, this is actually the first call that we're actually making where it's going out to the server. That's why this is asynchronous. So if await, does it exist? What if I use the right syntax, huh? There we go. Then we can go get the blob. Download as text. Hey, that's cool. I didn't need to. And then so this is last runtime string. So we get it here, and then we got to go and parse it. And so date time dot try parse. Let's try that. We use that string. The out is this guy here. Now we gotta. That's not because I forgot the out. So it should try and parse it and stick it out here. I believe it leaves this value if it not, but it may reinitialize it. So we got to check that. But that's it. I think we're actually going to get this working. And then we're going to go and, okay, we're writing out. That's not what you do to write out in a, you go log information. Is that right? Beautiful. So we get the last run. Then we're gonna go ahead with so we actually got the one. This is the one now, last runtime that we would use. So record a new runtime because, but do not update until the application completes. So this is our current runtime. This is like, hey, we're starting our application because this is where we do the work. Go ahead and query the API with the last runtime date time. This is go and get that like, hey, do you see what changed? Now we got to do more work, which is go ahead and download, and this is for my friend really more specifically, download the images that changed, and then do even more work. This is in his case where it's like resize those images and upload somewhere for the public. Okay, so we're doing all that work, blah, blah, blah. And then now finally at the end, now we're ready to say, okay, we did it. We got all of our records, we updated everything, and now we're good to record like, hey, I've checked everything since this last runtime, but now we're ready to update this to the current runtime. And we'll do that next because I want to just see if this part works first. So let's just see if we can get this to work and let's do it. Let's run it, huh? Let's see. I got my stop point. Let's go. What do we got? 4 minutes. Maybe we'll go a little over today. No, that doesn't look promising. What happened? Uh-huh. All right. You know, I wonder, my in the back of my mind, I got thought that I don't have ooh, 3, right? Hey. Ooh, that doesn't, no, that's not good. Nope. Okay, hold on. Let's try let's try this. Let's put that back to 2. In the back of my mind, I have a feeling I got this whole project wrong, and it's visuals. No, wait. Ah, yes. So why did it stop the first time? I don't know. Not yet. Almost. But it didn't kick in. Oh, I didn't have my breakpoint on there. I think it actually did it. Did it do it? Last runtime, 12:57. Hang on a sec. Okay, let's stop. It did it, I think. Let's stop. But now it shouldn't put anything here. There should be nothing in because we don't have it uploading. But it should be trying to get it, which is good. Let's try this again. Um, I don't know why it just kind of froze that last time, but maybe it's related to me changing the version and all this stuff. So I had to like whatever, maybe changing that one version cleared everything out. Here we go. We're actually in here. We're walking through. We're getting our last runtime 12:58. That's the one I did. I'm gonna go see if I can get it out of storage because hey, what was the actual last time? Blob doesn't exist, and so it didn't download it. But that's cool. It actually says no, it doesn't exist, and that's great. So now we got to put that blob up there. So let's go back to Google. Do you have an article here on putting up there? No. Read file, write text file to Azure Storage. Let's download, upload from stream. Oh, that's easy. So where are we? Got to stop this. So now we did all of our work, do even work. Now we've completed upload last runtime in Azure Storage. The new, I should say, the new last runtime, or in this case, it is this. It is current runtime. File stream, open write. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Can I upload? What choices do I have to upload? Upload text. Upload text. Async. What does it take? String. Beautiful. And I'm just going to take current runtime to string. That should be good enough for me. And then I don't need to do this, or this, and I just go await. And that's really it. Now we've completed update the new last runtime current runtime into Azure Storage. So when I run this, it should just put it up there and be done. Let's see. Do I have a breakpoint? Yes. Okay, there we go. So it's stepping through, going ahead, getting all my stuff. It gets the current runtime. Great. Did all my work now. That took a while. And now it's going to update this 1:22. 1 o'clock and 22 seconds. And it says it's done. So then let's go over here and no blobs. It didn't do it? Oh, that's disappointing. Why didn't it do it? Did it like create a new container? Upload text async. I'm missing something, right? think I forgot to do some other settings here, right? No. Click update the new lesson. Upload text async. Why is that not working? To a blob. Oh, no, I should have done it. That's the blob. That's the blob. I got that. It doesn't exist. That's okay. I do work. But do I need to, you know what? I wonder if I gotta go do this. Let's try that. Before we go, I want to make sure it's just not in here and it just didn't get delayed. Hold on. No, it's not there. So let's step through and see. I wonder if because I had queried and it said it doesn't exist. No, it should have. Oh, is it failing? Yes, it's failing. Specified container does not exist. Huh? The container does not exist. Okay, good. Well, at least we got an error instead of me mysteriously not knowing what to do. The container does not exist. Container does not exist. Get because I typoed it. Look at that. Is that the right one? Timestamp. Yeah. Let's try again. So it was actually, so when it was checking if it exists, it was actually finding the container didn't even exist and said, no, it's not there. Um, but now it did it. I think it did it. While it's finishing, so it's not exploding, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go here. This is the test. There it is. Hey, look at us. We did it. Of course you can't. You gotta download it. I wanna open it. And there it is. 103. Okay, so now here's the test is another test is when I run this again, it should go and go get that one, and we should get the new one, which was, what was that value? Let's download that again. So 103.59 is what is in the storage, okay? So we should go over here. Oh, it didn't. Did I accidentally skip over it? Okay, let's reset this again. Refresh, download, open. 103.59 is what is set in here. And then we're gonna run. The breakpoint should kick in. There, okay, so I must have hit F5 accidentally, or it didn't even start or something. I'm not sure what. There we go. So it actually exists, yes. And now we're gonna go download as text. There it is, 103.59, and we're gonna try parsing it out. So this one's set to 105, but that's the default if the file doesn't exist. Yes, 103. So now we're good to say, hey, our last time was 103 instead of 105, or in the case of this application, probably like 6 or 24 hours ago. And now we're going to run, and then we're going to set our current time, which is the new one, which is 106 now, do all of our work, and now update to 106. refresh. It was just updated at 106 and download, open. There it is, 106.14. Pretty cool. One last thing I'd like to change is that I don't believe I needed to do this. This was me trying to debug and figure it out. I think I just do that. Let's make sure. If I just run through this real quick, we should. Did it? And then we head over here. We should get like what, 107 or something like that. 107, download, open. 106.59. Does that sound right? Well, yeah, last modified 107. So that sounds right. That's good. So we got actually that all taken care of. So one last thing, since hey, I'm way over. I didn't get to talk Azure Cosmos DB, but is publishing. So I believe we can publish this to my Azure account. And I'm going to create a new plan, but first I want to go over here and show functions, function app. And there's nothing here, so we don't have any, but if I just choose, I want the consumption plan, which is going to be really nice. I'm creating a new consumption plan, and we will just choose that one. This is my account. No, it's an image uploader location. I like to choose East US, Azure Storage. I don't know if I want to, whatever, let it be in the same one. I don't care. So you normally there's a functions, you create your own functions one where all the storage account goes, info that's needed, but we'll just leave it in its own, because this would be all my data, and I really wouldn't want to mess with this account for whatever the application is. I'd probably create my own, like, hey, this is my Azure Functions storage account for all those settings and the content of the Azure function. That's what this is used for, is all the content of the Azure function. Then if you use slots, it's switching back and forth. So, but we'll just leave it like that, and then we'll say create. Just waiting. So while I'm waiting for that, because that can take a little bit. So what I was hoping to get to today, which I didn't, is today's was going to be talking about Azure Cosmos DB and partitioning and which partition should you use and which key should you use. And I found this great article. Nope, not this one. Not that one. This one was a good one. And then this one was really good. It actually did a real world example of like a blog engine and talking about users and blog posts, and then how would you model the data in Azure Cosmos DB if you're trying to build something like this. And it really explained some things. And so I was going to walk through this article and kind of talk it out. And then I was thinking about actually building this. I don't exactly where I was going to go with this. I wasn't sure, but this was a pretty good starting point for where I wanted to go for of actually whoa. Oh, it kind of it kind of made more sense about, oh, that's what you're talking about when it's trying to figure out that partition key and why. So so this is the article I was hoping to get into, but I am out of time today. Let's see if our thing is still running. It takes a while. Gotta wait. But while we're waiting, we can dig through this. So this article really kind of showed about, hey, you know, if you're coming from that SQL Server relational database world, you tend to have your posts table and your comments table and ID and references, and that doesn't quite work very well in Azure Cosmos DB. And you can, and it also from a high throughput area perspective, it could not necessarily work from if you really have a ton of users. And so Cosmos DB or that NoSQL model can really help with that. And if you go through this, you can see how it shows you, hey, the performance here is okay, it's good, but then you run into issues with like trying to get some sort of other type of queries related to the posts and the users, the author of that post, and then it kind of has like, hey, warning, this is a bad query, and then it shows you how to fix that and how uh, putting denormalizing some of the tables. Is that the right term? Or I think it is. That's how you can actually go about really speeding things up and yeah, denormalization to optimize read queries, and it really you can kind of see how it is, and then it talks about actually why you're going to choose a particular partition key, and really should just really step through this whole article again because it made a lot of sense. And then there's pieces here about how do you then go about updating and making all these. Well, what if so you got like your author name in two different places, but what if you update it in one place, then you got to update another, and that's where this change feed comes in. And I have no idea how that works, but I'm going to figure it out. And I was hoping to dive into that a little bit today too, but but maybe next time. Oh no. Uh-oh. I think it's doing it. Let's see. Well, it says it's here, so maybe that got stuck. Usually what I like to do is I go into the portal, I create my function here, and then I just set up the profile in Visual Studio and deploy to it. It may still be working, or it's not here yet. So it's still working. It's still doing it. But what you're going to see is the function here, and then you'll be able to run it and watch it run in here and update that timestamp in that storage file. I was hoping to show that. I think I should have created it through here. And then, oh, did it finish? It finished. Sweet. So why isn't this updated? It just needs to refresh. Oh, but I bet you know what? I don't think it deployed. It did not deploy. Okay, so we are ready to publish now. We're actually going to publish it as the release configuration. Sure. And what I forgot to do is I left this run on startup true. So it's going to run as soon as it gets in here. So let's watch it deploy. Moving around too fast. Publishing, see, it's doing it. There. So it's out there. Refresh this. Refresh. It's coming. There it is, function one. Now, of course, if you wanted to change that one, that's it right here. Change the function name. You can, of course, change this class name too. You can have these different, however you feel is the best naming convention you can use. But you really should make this make sense. Function one is bad. But I bet you if we scroll down, I always forget where it is. Down here is the console and the logs, and you can see it's right here. So we can actually run this, and it may have already run, but we're going to run it again. Let's go look. Let's go up. You know what? I got to go here. Let's bring up another portal. Go to our storage account. Go into our container. Yeah, see, it put all of these. This is supporting the function, and it put it in here. And like, well, if this is fine. But if this was all like application specific data, I might not want that in there. I might want to have created my own another storage container that handles like the Azure function supporting files or something like that. We're not worried about it today. But there it is. Last runtime was updated 115, which is probably um, the last it just actually ran. So if I open up this, I get 6:15, of course, because the Azure function runs on UTC time. You got to remember that. Like I just put this in, but of course it's UTC time. You got to take that into account when you're running. Hopefully everything is running. Should have thought about that. I should have used, instead of daytime now, I should have used uh, UTC now, and that would have probably solved this problem. But just keep that in mind. What data you're querying, what's your timestamp and all. But it's 6:15, so let's go over to here. I'm gonna hit run. It should kick in. There it is, executing. Last runtime was 6:15, and it finished. It should have put the new one up here. I should have logged that out here, but I didn't. But let's go over here and refresh this. Download the latest version, and where'd it go? Did it download? There it is. It's not popping up, but 6:16:58. There it is. So that's the new runtime that it ran, and now it's ready to go next time that timer trigger goes off. So there it is. So an hour and 17 minutes later, I finally got through everything, which I thought was going to take me 20 minutes. But anyway, pretty cool. Hopefully this is going to help my friend out. But this is what I want to do is like, hey, somebody's got a question. How do you do stuff like that? And I just want to play around and hopefully, um, learn something too as we're going, which we did. We learned a bunch about the functions 3.0, Azure Storage, and just getting this all set up. All right, well, next time will be next Wednesday at noon Eastern again. And I'll be talking about Azure Cosmos DB and hopefully getting into that sample, unless a question comes up over the week, because I like talking about that too. Thank you very much, and have a great week.